Is it the rate it should be right now? Are you guys happy with where you're at?
You know, we started off early this year kind of getting some more turnovers, and, you know, we had a couple of scores on defense even. I think that's slowing down right now. So that's something that we said is one of our objectives this week is to create turnovers. You know, that gives us a spark. Obviously, it helps our offense, but, you know, to be a great defense, you got to do some of those things.
Have y'all also addressed the running game situation? If there's one thing you look at this defense, y'all are kind of in the middle of the pack as far as defense against the run and stuff. What did y'all address on that over the last 2 weeks?
You know, just the attention to detail. We addressed tackling, definitely. Just making sure that we know our fits, but obviously that guys have to beat somebody too. It's hard to play defense when, you know, guys know their fits and they fit up blocks and they do the whole thing, but nobody's really getting off of blocks and making those plays. So that's one thing we talked about is just aggression and violence at the point of contact. Not just being 1-for-1 on every play.
Do you consider this quarterback you're going against a running mobile quarterback? I know you guys have some trouble with those kind of guys earlier this year. Mitch Leidner's numbers aren't quite what they usually are, but how do you view him as a runner?
He's a really good runner. He's their guy. He makes the offense go, and so we've got to have answers for that. And we've been working hard this week just to make sure that we've got all the bases covered. But we know that they're going to come out with something different probably. You know, they're going to come out with some energy and juice, and so we're going to have to go out there, do what we do, make adjustments, and keep going.
Joshua, they like to use a tight end as much as probably anybody in the Big Ten, and occasionally this defense has had trouble against that, or at least in the past. What's different about preparing this week when they've got a guy like Linger, who I think it's Linger, who can block very well, but also can tap the seam?
Yeah, that's an attention to detail kind of thing, and it's a lot of formation recognition, just knowing tendencies. Trying to have that edge. We know that we've got to be sound in what we're doing. You know, fundamentals are going to be huge in just the way that we play coverage, but also the way that we attack those blocks, knowing that their tight ends are going to be some of those guys out in coverage too. So we've worked on that a lot. We know, and we've seen it on film. I mean, those guys were making plays, and we saw it all last week, and we've just got to be ready for that.
Josh, what mentorship role, if any, have you had with JT Barrett? He's a sophomore captain. You're a senior and a captain. You have a lot of similarities. Obviously, he's on the offensive side of the ball. You're on the defensive side of the ball, but you're known for your community service, being a great guy out in the community. What if any, kind of mentorship role have you had with him this week?
You know, a lot of the stuff that we do is just conversation, just talk to him. You know, it hasn't been a ton of conversation because JT's a guy where you really don't have to get on him because he's probably beating himself up enough right now. So the biggest thing is just, you know, if he has any questions, he wants somebody to talk to, that's what we do. But, you know, knowing that he understands the situation, what he did, you don't want to push the envelope too much because for a kid like that, he's just going to tear himself down.
Do you feel like that was a stumbling block for the team, or you guys are strong enough to be mentally tough just to roll through something like that?
Yeah, I mean, all we know is that we just really got to prepare for Minnesota. Those guys they played a really good game, and so we just got to be prepared for what's coming down the chute right here.
I'm going to give the Braxton questions one last shot. As somebody who's played with him for 4 years, what's it been like to see him lining up back there in an increased role at quarterback in practice this week?
I'm not answering any Braxton questions right now.
What are you most curious about coming off a bye week, playing Minnesota, just getting back into it? What are you most excited about? Most curious about?
You know, I guess the big thing for us is knowing that they played a really tough game and that they're going to come in here and play great. We've had time to prepare, and we want to kind of just go out there and be fresh. You know, November is huge. And when you look at the record books and when you look in history, you know, Ohio State teams that don't win in November don't get to play for anything that great. So that's what we got to do, and it all starts right here.
Josh, last 2 games, you guys only given up 17 points between the 2 games. Just what's been the difference for the defense? Maybe finishing possessions and not letting teams get the field goal or the touchdown at the end, or what's been the difference?
It's kind of a chip on the shoulder type thing because we've heard all kinds of stuff people have been saying about our defense, and we believe that we have really good players. We're just not playing to the ability that we should be playing to, and so we take a lot of pride in that. And we want to show everybody that we can be a great defense, so just kind of having that chip going out there.
You remember 3 years ago when y'all couldn't stop anybody throwing the ball? Remember? You remember the Orange Bowl and things like that? What's the biggest difference between then and now?
You know, I think it would be a lot of the way that we prepare and the way that we practice. Our practice habits are so much better. You know, I don't think our personnel definitely is better, but I don't know how much better it really is. So it just really comes down to the way that we've prepared and the way that we've trained.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks.